WWE's Money in the Bank is June 19th, and there are three huge matches to talk about today. First of all, the United States Champion, Rusev, finally will defend his title. For the first, it seems like a long time since he's actually done it, but it's the last pay-per-view at Extreme Rules. He defeated Kalisto, and now he moves on to Titus O'Neil, a man who won... No, he didn't win he won a Battle Royal, I believe, for it. I'm not sure. Unless I'm thinking of a different time. I think it was probably before the suspension. But for those who didn't know, Titus O'Neil is back. Titus has been shoveled with a lot of gimmicks, basically. A finish it gimmick. I believe it was, there's a smoking ad or something. Then it turned into a rape ad. Then it turned into someone finishing someone's jokes, who pretty much an asshole. And then he just started battling for America. The story of Titus O'Neil sometimes is really confusing. But, he was suspended for 60 days, so you gotta do something with him. And with that being said, what better way than to give him a United States title match against Rusev? I don't think he will win the United States Championship, as Rusev won it a couple months ago. Actually, he won it last month, now that I think about it, because just due to the delay of pay-per-views, there was 2 last month. So it's very confusing because at this point you're used to Kalisto and Rusev, or Kalisto and somebody, and now it's Rusev and somebody, so it's totally different. With that being said, though, Titus, I don't believe, will win the match. I don't think he'll be the United States Champion because Rusev, basically just won the belt. So he has to have a long reign of it. Because the last time Rusev held the belt was until WrestleMania, where he lost to a man in a different match we'll talk about a little bit later on. But as much as Titus would be the sentimental favorite, the obvious bet here is Rusev. Because the last time he held it, the guy was pretty much undefeated his entire length of the belt. And even before that as well. Next up, we have the Tag Team Championships, the New Day versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus the Vaudevillains, which really is interesting because this mixes a lot of storylines together in this one match. It's a Fatal 4-Way match, ironically made by the king of tag team matches, Teddy Long, who made an appearance on Raw a couple days ago. But, and of course, Stephanie made the match later, but still, Teddy Long should get the credit for it, I believe. But, with that being said, New Day has held this belt for a very long time, but it'll be interesting to see what happens from here. Because we could see something interesting. And it'll go on to, which will also follow up with another match. I don't think that thing will happen, but let's say it does, for example. Then that would mean Gallows and Anderson, in their second pay-per-view ever for WWE, win the tag team titles. And it's probably too soon for that, but it's also too soon for a lot of teams on this list. I mean, Enzo and Cass, they deserve it, especially after what happened to Enzo Amore a couple months ago at Payback. Totally deserve the titles, but I don't know if they're going to do that. And the Vaudevillains are not really in the greatest of graces in the higher-ups, especially with that incident with Enzo Amore. So it's either New Day retains or Gallows and Anderson win belts. And finally, a match we never thought would ever happen. A match probably 15 years in the making. For the longest time, it was almost a what if this ever happened. It's finally happened as AJ Styles faces the returning John Cena. And because I say the returning John Cena, it will obviously mean he will win the match because he's the returning John Cena. But to be honest, with our title situation right now, I wouldn't mind if Cena win because it makes sense. It makes sense for him to win, only because, and I have been a high critic of John Cena over the years, but it only makes sense because the guy came back from surgery, came back from rehab, came back probably a lot before he should have, honestly. I mean, he should be out for a couple more months, to be honest, but Super Cena always finds a way to come back at the weirdest times. The reason I say that is because Roman Reigns is the champion. And as much as I hate to say it, I would rather have Cena win this match and tie Ric Flair, something I have been against for years, than have Roman Reigns as the champion. And that really says something. That people would rather have John Cena as the champion instead of Roman Reigns, which would say a lot. But there is a chance that AJ could win the match because, like he said on Raw, people like Cena bury people like AJ. And it's a fact. It's a fact of life. And once you lose to John Cena, you're pretty much, your career's done at that point. Much like when you lost to Hogan back in the day. That was pretty much the end of your career at that point in WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, Money in the Bank is June 19th, and there will be a lot more matches in here. And we could have another member of the Money in the Bank match. I don't know. I think it's just going to be the six that we did a couple episodes ago. It might be a 7. I don't know. We'll see what happens from here.